Alright, so hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and update 27.3, the Operation Scarlet Spear has just arrived and it is pretty damn cool, so let's check it out. So the biggest thing with this update is of course the Scarlet Spear operation, which is kind of split into two parts. There is one part in space and one part on the ground. You start the whole thing off by heading over to Earth and heading to Scarlet Spear, which is a new relay that's been set up to combat the sentients. Once there, you can talk to a Quack who will explain what's going on and what you need to do, as well as buy some stuff from her once you get some points by playing the missions. Now you do actually have to check out her shop right away, because in order for you to do the event, you have to buy an uplink for 1000 credits. The uplink, by the way, is gathered into your gear wheel automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. Now the rewards are actually quite cool. You can get a blueprint for the Seti Electra, as well as the Buzzmoo, then you can get a stance forma blueprint, a gilded clan sigil, a glyph clan sigil, as well as a face clan sigil. You can buy the new ballroom simulacrum, some decoration for your landing craft, and a crap ton, an absolute crap ton of arcanes. Once you acquire your uplink and you're ready to go, you can choose which mission you want to do. If you want to do the Railjack mission, you head to the left to do the Murex raid, but if you'd rather do the ground mission on Earth, you head to the right when you can do the ground assault mission. If you choose to do the Murex raid, you'll be zoomed onto your Railjack right away and you will head over to Lex Proxima, where you will encounter a few sentient Murexis? Murexi? The big red ribby spooky things. Your mission here is to take the uplink satellite, which will be attached to the front of your railjack, which by the way does disable your pilot weapons, and bring it over to one of the Murexes, where it will be automatically deployed, at which point you have to head into the Murex to deploy your uplink in the marked location and defend it, while people in the ground assault mission send you kill codes. Now it takes 9 kill codes to get rid of the Murex, so you'll have to stay here for a little bit before the Murex is done. And it's all automatic, by the way. You just deploy the uplink, and as long as people are doing the ground assault and they also deployed an uplink and they're doing their thing over there, you just have to defend it and that's it. I would highly recommend you bring the Paracesis to this, because not only does it do massive amounts of damage to the sentients, it also resets their damage reductions. And if you have a well enough equipped railjack, by the way, you can easily solo the Murex raid by yourself. Once you upload 9 kill codes to the Murex, it will poof away and you'll be teleported back to your railjack and you can start working on another Murex. The most difficult thing that I encountered during this mission is when the Grenier got pissy and sent a cruise ship after me, which just does way more damage than anything else you're gonna run into. This is why if you don't have a well-equipped railjack, you either want to do the ground assault mission or you want to bring a squad, because a weak railjack is just gonna get shredded to bits. Even my railjack was having some trouble with the cruise ship because they just do way too much damage. Once you deal with all the Murexes, you can head back to your railjack and travel back to Earth to the Scarlet Spear, and the mission is done. Now, as I said already, the ground mission takes place on Earth and it is equally as cool as the Murex raid, because, oh my god, just look at it, that is so awesome. So what will happen here is you will head over to the marked location and you will see a Chondrix crash into the ground. Now the Chondrix will periodically open up, revealing a big ball which looks awesome that you need to shoot. And you will have to do this a couple of times until the Chondrix is at low health, at which point you can deploy your uplink, which will scan the Chondrix and then send kill codes to the railjack squads. Now you will only be able to scan for 3 kill codes per Chondrix, because they will then just fly into the sky and you will have to go and do it again with a different Chondrix. Now this mission, as far as I can tell anyway, is endless, but there is a fail state where the uplink does not regenerate or reset its health. So if your uplink takes some damage while you're scanning the first one, it will retain that damage for the second, third, fourth and fifth one, and so on and so on and so on, until it will just eventually get destroyed. And you need to send at least 3 sets of codes to be able to extract. Though you of course can keep going if that's what you want to do and your uplink is healthy enough. Also, another thing you can do at the Scarlet Spear is send reinforcements to either the space or ground squads. This will cost you 75,000 credits, and when you do so, you will see the person that you send it to pop up and be like, hey buddy, thanks. And I'm not entirely sure what this does, honestly, but I suppose it helps that squad or that person in some way, shape or form. I personally haven't received one yet. And that is pretty much all I know about the event so far, and I think it's really cool. I particularly enjoyed the Railjack mission because it just has a really good ratio of flying around and fighting on foot, and it's probably my favorite Railjack mission that I've done so far. Now moving on from there, we have some new mods. So we have Preparation for Warframes, which can give you up to 100% maximum energy on spawn, which is really good because it allows you to spawn with full energy, which is Gonna be pretty cool for some builds, I think. Then there is Aerial Ace for rifles, which will on-kill, refresh or double jump up to 6 times while you're airborne. That sounds really awesome. Then there is Mending Shot for rifles, which only works on non-AoE weapons, which will allow you to shoot health orbs to consume them with 110% increased effect. And a very similar mod for pistols called Energizing Shot, which will allow you to shoot energy orbs and consume them with once again 110% increased effect. Then we got some pretty interesting Exos augments for Warframe. So we have Anchored Glide for Zephyr, which will disable your passive but give you 15% power strength. A similar one for Neja called Controlled Slide, which will also disable your passive and give you 15% power strength. And finally we have Ironclad Flight for Titania, which will disable your Razor Wing Vacuum but give you 40% damage reduction while airborne, which does work with Razor Wing. Moving on from there, we have some changes to status effects, starting off with Impact, which no longer causes a knockdown, thank god. It instead causes a bigger stagger once the enemy has 5 or more stacks, and it can also open them up to Parazone finishers if they crossed a certain health threshold. And the second status that received some changes was Gas. So what happened here is the Gas Cloud will now persist for a little bit once the host of the gas proc dies. Then the area the cloud covers grows as you proc more and more gas on the enemy. And finally, and this is awesome as well, they removed gas resistance from toxic ancient auras, which is huge because they were pretty much immortal when it came to gas. And it made no sense, especially now after the gas changes, because Infested are kind of like the faction to use gas against. Also, they made it so that you can now inflict status on Kuvaliches, but they will only stack to 4 instead of 10, with the exception of Impact, which will stack to 6. Next on the menu, we have some status buffs to Gunblades to bring them more in line with other shotguns. And from the little bit of testing that I did, it's not too bad. It's actually quite spicy. Now, there's of course a ton of other stuff that got changed, tweaked, fixed, or optimized with this update, and if you want to go through the entire forum post, there's a link to it in the description below. I just can't go through all of it because the video would be like 2 hours long. But I think I've covered what I think are the biggest or most important changes. So as always guys, I thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be safe, stay at home, don't be an idiot, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.